Welcome to Whisperwire, where survival isn't just beating illness. It's walking away from the people who tried to break you. At 10 years old, I was fighting leukemia. At 12, I walked in on my mom cheating on my dad, and when I confronted her, she didn't deny it. She told me she wished I'd never survived. 3 years later, I'm still alive. She's still alone. And the silence between us is permanent. My son caught me cheating on his father and confronted me. So, I told him I wished he would just die from his cancer, or better yet, that he had never been born to me just to shut him up. Now, I regret all of it, and wish I had never spoken to my son that way. This isn't easy to write. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't think I deserve it. I'm writing because I have no one left to say this to. No one left at all. I, 45, told my son, 15 million now, 12 at the time, that I wished he never recovered from cancer. Those exact words came out of my mouth like venom, and I meant none of it. But I still said it, and that's all that matters. I don't even recognize the person I was when I said it. But I know what led up to it. 3 years ago, my son had leukemia. Diagnosed when he was 10. It flipped our whole world inside out. The kid was always sweet, polite, and happy. We lived at the hospital for months. My husband, 47 million, was working overtime, doing double shifts, keeping the roof over our heads. Never once complained. He'd come sleep on the hospital chair, hold our son's hand during chemo, then wake up at 6 a.m. and go straight back to work. He held it together. I didn't. I broke in a way I didn't know was possible. The constant fear, the helplessness, the waiting for test results, pretending to be strong in front of my kid, it wrecked me. I was hollow. I wasn't eating, barely functioning. I'm not defending what I did, just explaining how the crack started. I met a guy. I'm not even going to name him. He wasn't anyone special, just someone I ran into regularly. He didn't know my situation, didn't ask questions, didn't see me as a cancer mom, and that made it easy. The first time I cheated, I just left the hospital. My son had a fever. I thought he was going to die that night. I couldn't breathe. I walked into a bar, saw this guy, and just let myself fall. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't love. It was me needing to feel something else. Anything else. Afterwards, I cried in my car for 2 hours. I told myself it was a one-time thing. It wasn't. It kept happening. And every time I hated myself more, but it also numbed me. I'd go back to the hospital the next day, hold my son's hand, and pretend everything was fine. I convinced myself that the affair was helping me keep it together, that if I just had this outlet, I could still be the mom and wife I was supposed to be. Then, miracle, he started to get better. Remission, a word we never thought we'd hear. He was beating it. The doctors were shocked. He bounced back harder than anyone expected. We had a celebration night. My husband cried like a baby. Our son and my husband shaved their heads together. We had hope again. And I was still cheating because, by then, it wasn't about coping anymore. I was addicted to the escape, to the feeling of being wanted. It had nothing to do with love or Essex or the other guy. It was like a drug, and I couldn't stop. I thought I had more time before everything blew up. I thought I could fix it before anyone found out. I was so wrong. It was a Saturday. My husband had flown out for a 2-day work trip. My son told me he was staying over at his best friend's place. So, I thought I had the house to myself. I invited the guy over. We were in my bedroom, middle of it, and then the front door opened. I swear to God, time froze. My son, backpack on one shoulder. He stood in the hallway. I heard the door, ran out of the room, half-dressed, and there he was, looking at me like I just stabbed him. And in a way, I did. He didn't yell, didn't say anything, just looked, then turned around and walked right out. I chased after him barefoot. I tried to explain. He wouldn't even look at me, just walked straight down the street. I watched him knock on his friend's door and go inside. Didn't answer my calls, didn't reply to texts. That night, I couldn't sleep. The guy I was with left pretty fast. I sat in the living room waiting for the door to open again. It didn't. The next morning, he came back, but only to grab some clothes. That's when he finally spoke to me. He asked how long it had been going on. I lied, said it was recent. He called BS immediately. He asked why. I had no answer. None that made sense. None that would ever justify it. He asked if Dad knew. I said no. Then he said, "So you just lied to both of us this whole time." He wasn't angry. He was disappointed, which somehow hurt worse. I panicked. I tried to cry, to apologize. I tried to get him to stay, but the more I talked, the worse it got. My guilt was boiling over. I was terrified he'd tell his dad, and I cracked. I don't even remember what led to it. Maybe he accused me of never loving Dad. Maybe he asked if I ever loved him. But I just snapped and said, "I wish you hadn't beaten cancer, or that you'd never been born to me." Yeah, that came out of my mouth. Word for word. He went dead silent. I immediately tried to take it back. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I'm just overwhelmed. All the usual garbage that means nothing when you just said the worst thing imaginable. He walked out again, this time for good. He called his dad, told him to come home. I knew what was coming. I sat in that house like it was a ticking bomb. When my husband walked in the next day, he didn't even say a word to me. Went straight to our son, hugged him for a long time, then packed 2 bags and walked out. Not a single look in my direction. I tried calling. He didn't answer. I sent texts, emails, all ignored. They stayed in a hotel for a week. Then I got served. Divorce, full custody, restraining order request didn't go through, but yeah, they tried. My son gave a statement in court. He said he didn't feel safe around me, that I was unstable, that I emotionally abused him, that I said what I said, and never once tried to make it right. I didn't fight him. How could I? You can't walk back something like that. You can't undo it. You can't erase that look on his face when you say the one thing a mother should never say to her child. He chose to live with his dad. They moved 2 towns over. No forwarding address, no birthday calls, no replies. 3 years now. Dead silence. And here I am still in the same house, same job, same hollow shell of a life. No one talks to me. Everyone I used to know chose his side, and honestly, I don't blame them. His ex became a distraction for a while. I went numb and did whatever with whoever, but every time I tried to feel something again, it just made me hate myself more. I'd look at myself afterward and think, this is what I threw my family away for. Spoiler, it never helped. I don't even know who I am anymore. I eat because I have to go to work, because I need to pay the bills. I sleep when I pass out, but I'm not living. I'm just drifting. A few months ago, I thought about messaging his friend's mom, maybe asking her to pass on a letter or something. But I stopped myself. I already did enough damage. I lost the 2 people who meant everything to me because I was too weak to face pain like a decent human being. I still love them. Every day I'd give anything just to hear his voice, even if it was just to tell me to go to hell again. But I know I don't get that. Not after what I did. Comments. Comment 1. You were so crushed by your son having cancer that you decided the best way to cope was to F someone behind your husband's back. and then kept doing it after your son survived. And when that same son caught you, you hit him with the nuclear bomb of, "I wish you hadn't beaten cancer." You want sympathy from Reddit. Lady, you played victim while you were destroying your family with both hands. You didn't just cheat. You disrespected your son's survival and made his recovery about you. That kid beat cancer, and his reward was a mom who nuked his world. Hope the orgasms were worth it. Comment 2. You said you cheated because you needed to feel something. Then you lost your family, and now you feel everything, and suddenly it's not so fun anymore. Huh? Also, you didn't just cheat. You betrayed a kid who was literally fighting for his life. You called X your coping mechanism. Your son was surviving. How do you expect him to come back? Seriously, walk us through that fantasy. He reads this post and thinks, wow, my mom really regrets banging random dudes while I was in chemo. Time to go home. Be real. Comment 3. You treated guilt like a challenge and kept trying to speedrun rock bottom. I mean, damn. Cheating while your son is sick. Doubling down after remission. Getting caught. Then telling him to his face you wish he died. That's Olympic-level sabotage. What did you expect to happen? Your son to hug you and say, "Thanks for the trauma, Mom"? Nah. You lit the house on fire, and now you're crying about the ashes. Here's a deep one. If he had died, would you still be cheating right now? Or would you be playing the grieving mother while secretly blaming him for not surviving? Update: I didn't plan to post again, but the comments hit me harder than I thought they would. Not because they were mean or cruel. Honestly, they were probably too kind for what I did. But because they forced me to stop bullshitting myself, I needed to hear every one of them, even the ones that burned, especially those. No, I don't want sympathy. I don't even think I deserve support. But I'm here because I need help. Real help. Because I'm not okay. I've been self-harming. I think I just wanted to punish myself, to feel pain. Because emotional pain felt too abstract. I look in the mirror and see someone I hate. And it's not a phase. It's been like this every day for almost 2 years. I've tried therapy, went through 2 therapists. The first one quit on me after 4 sessions. The second one told me I was not ready to take accountability and dropped me when I missed appointments. She was right. Back then, I still told myself lies like, I didn't mean it. It was a mistake, and I was just broken. Now I know that's all deflection. I wasn't broken. I was selfish, and I did irreversible damage. My son didn't deserve any of it. And my husband, I can't even begin to unpack what I did to him. He stood by me through everything. He watched our kid nearly die and still kept working and loving and holding us together. And I rewarded that loyalty with betrayal. I made a fool out of him. Worse, I put him in a position where he had to pick between me and our son. And the choice was easy, because there was no choice. He picked the one worth saving. I keep thinking about what an audio therapist BR asked. If he had died, would you still be cheating right now? I don't have an answer, and the fact that I don't horrifies me. I want to say no. I want to say I would have been devastated. But if I'm being honest, I probably would have kept spiraling, worn the grief like a costume while quietly falling apart behind the scenes. That's who I became, and I hate that person. So, where do I go from here? Because right now, I'm still in that same house, still working the same job, still coming home to nothing, just silence and memories. And sometimes, that silence is louder than any fight we ever had. I've stopped hooking up. That was just a Band-Aid over a shotgun wound. The guilt never left. If anything, it got worse. I'd look at someone else's ceiling and just want to vomit. I think I use his ex the same way I use lies to hide from myself. But you can't outrun guilt. It doesn't care how drunk or distracted you are. It catches you. I want to get better. I don't know how, but I want to try. I don't expect to ever get my son back, or my ex. That bridge is not just burned. It's dust in the wind. But I don't want to die like this. I don't want the last chapter of my life to be this pathetic self-inflicted punishment spiral. So, if anyone reading this has real advice books, therapy programs, even online resources, I'm listening. I can't do this on my own anymore. I don't have family. I don't have close friends. I don't even talk to coworkers beyond surface-level small talk. But if I can find some kind of path forward, maybe I can at least become a person who doesn't hate herself so much she has to bleed just to feel human again. I've signed up for a new therapist this week. The intake call is tomorrow. I'm trying to be honest from day one. No excuses, no petty grabs, just the truth. And if my son ever reads this somehow, I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything. I know it doesn't even touch what I did. But I'm sorry for cheating, for lying, for making you feel like you weren't enough, and for saying something I didn't mean during the worst moment of your life. I didn't deserve to be your mom, but you were the best son anyone could have asked for, and I ruined it. I don't expect you to ever forgive me, but I'll never stop being sorry. Not for 1 second. And if you're someone reading this, and you're in the middle of some affair right now, or considering it because you're broken or numb or just need a release, don't. Just effing don't. It's not worth it. Whatever pain you think you're escaping will only come back 10 times stronger. And one day, you'll say something or do something you can't take back. Some damage is forever. Thanks for reading. Even if you hate me, I get it. I probably would too. But I want to try to live. I'm just not sure how to start. Response from Son. A friend sent me a Reddit post a few days ago. Here is the link. That wasn't a cry for help. That was bait. Let me say this once and only once. I'm her son. The one she said that to. And yeah, she said it cold. No hesitation, no tears, no immediate regret like she claimed in her post. She just stood there silent while I picked up my bag and walked out of the house. I'm not posting this for drama or karma. I'm not angry, not bitter. This isn't revenge. I've spent years dealing with what she did, cheating on my dad while I was fighting leukemia, lying for months, and then dropping the most gutting thing a mother could say to her kid. She told you it was guilt, a mistake, that it just came out. But here's what she didn't say. That she spent months justifying it. That she tried to gaslight me into thinking my dad was emotionally checked out. That she was lonely. That no one was there for her, even though my dad was sleeping in plastic chairs and working 12-hour shifts to keep us afloat. I messaged her one time. After her first post, I told her, stop using Reddit as your therapy. If you want to fix things, do it in real life. Don't fish for sympathy with strangers. She latched onto that like a lifeline. Thought I was coming back. She told me she was proud, that this was the first step. She started pushing for reconciliation again, like I'd forgiven her. So, I ignored it. Then, I saw the update. She dropped the "I've been self-harming" bomb in public on Reddit without ever telling me, privately. She didn't reach out. She didn't check if I was okay hearing that. She just posted it in front of the whole internet because she knew I'd read it. That's what hit me. She didn't write that to process her pain. She wrote that to trigger mine. She used the threat of her own self-destruction to try to pull me back in. And that's when it all clicked. All these years, I've tried to keep the door cracked open just a little. I've told myself maybe one day she'd change, that maybe she was sick, or overwhelmed, or truly remorseful. But that update, that was calculated. It was manipulative. And it was the last straw. I called a national mental health helpline the same day, asked what to do if someone's publicly hinting at self-harm, but refuses to talk to family directly. They advised me to report it anonymously and block contact. So I did. I made the call, gave them her city and details, and then I blocked her everywhere. Not because I hate her. Let me be clear. I don't hate her. I don't love her either. I don't feel anything when I think of her. She's just, no, not a mom. Not even a person I recognize anymore. Just someone I used to know. And that's what's made it easier. When I stopped looking at her as my mother and started seeing her as a person who consistently chooses herself, regardless of the cost to anyone else, the confusion stopped. The guilt stopped. The grief turned into distance. And now, it's just quiet. To those of you who supported her in the comments, I get it. You read what she gave you. You saw pain and regret. That's easy to relate to. But I've lived the rest of that story. And sometimes the person crying loudest isn't the one who got hurt. Sometimes they're the one who lit the match and is upset the fire got too big. I've moved on. My dad's doing better than ever. We're both in therapy. He's seeing someone new. I'm applying to college soon, working part-time and doing the normal, boring teenager stuff I never got to do during the chemo years. We have peace now. That's all I ever wanted. So no, this isn't a comeback post. This is a door slamming shut. Whatever happens to her next, that's on her. Edit. The story was word for word my life. My illness, the cheating, what she said to me, how my dad left her, everything. She wrote it as a confession, but let's be real, it was a performance. Then she posted an update saying she was self-harming. That's when I knew she wrote this whole thing not to process guilt, but because she knew I'd read it. It didn't take me long to realize it was my mom. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. I don't hate her. I don't love her. I don't even know her anymore. She's just someone I used to call my mom, before I learned the truth about who she really is. My dad and I have peace now. She can tell her story to strangers online, but whatever happens to her next, that's on her. Subscribe to Whisper Wire, where sometimes letting go is the kindest thing you can do for yourself.